Good evening and welcome to Fleece TV this very, very windy evening. Now, as I've mentioned this week, we have been busy making preparations for reopening the Fleece next Saturday. But it brought to mind another time, some time ago, when things were very much in the balance here at the Fleece. And that was when we had our fire back in 2004. It was a funny old day. It was a bright, sunny February day. Unfortunately, the fire happened around lunchtime, and one of my staff was wandering down to feed the chickens and noticed a smouldering going on in the thatched area. And you can see here that this is where the fire really took hold initially. These pictures were taken by Helen Davis. Thank you, Helen, and Rob presented me with a lovely book which we're going to show you another time, of all the pictures and a bit of a history of the fire. But you can see it really was getting a real hold on this bit of thatch here. This was the the ladders here. I was up there with a hose pipe because I thought that might help. Obviously, sadly mistaken. But the fire raged for perhaps about 12 hours. But we did manage to get everything out with the help of our locals and regulars came along, and we marched everything across from the pub over to the barn and stored everything over in the barn. The National Trust came along and made everything secure and made everything just so that we could reopen again some 15 months later. All the furniture went away to be stored and restored. A lot of it up at Hidcote was stored at Hidcote. Yeah, some 15 months later we were able to reopen on May the 1st, I think it was, in 2005. And I'll tell you something, I had a jolly old time. Once I realised that we were going to be able to reopen and that the Trust were behind us reopening, I had a good time being able to replan how we were going to operate the pub, and they gave me a very large input into the design and the infrastructure and so forth. And we had our pub over in the barn for that period of time. My good friend Vaughan Hulley wrote a song for all those folkies who would start every Thursday evening singing in the Fleece, and perhaps I'll do a rendition of that sometime soon. But yeah, we had an absolute ball over in the bar. We had a pool table, would you believe? A pool table over there. Yeah, it was a different kind of place, but it was a lot of fun, and a lot of locals got together, and lots of happy memories of those days. But anyway, that's just me ranting on about the Fleece during the period of the fire and the restoration. We'll show you some more pictures of that on another occasion, because there's lots of shots of upstairs where the Trust allowed people to visit and see the restoration, and consulted with local people to make sure that what was done was the right thing. So much to come on that, and we'll try and squeeze that in this week before we reopen. But tonight is a Granny's Attic kind of a night. These are three of our good friends who we've known on the folk scene for many a year, since they were mere sproglets. And here is me chatting with them earlier on today. So good afternoon, and I'm joined today by three fine, upstanding musicians from a group called Granny's Attic, and that's George, Lewis and Cohen. How do you do, guys?
Hiya, thanks for having us.
Welcome to my first multi-Zoom interview. Thanks for joining me on that. We'll see how it goes, but what I'd like to do is just chat a little bit about what each of you has been doing of late. But first of all, I think we probably all met at Bromyard Folk Festival at some point or other, didn't we? I guess. I've got my T-shirt on, by the way. Look.
Oh,
no, look at that.
I haven't. Yeah, definitely Bromyard, when you're on the bar at some point. Anyway. Yeah. We were being misfits probably in the bar area.
Possibly so, yeah. Some time ago, yeah. If I could just start with you, George, what sort of things have you been up to up there in Leeds at the moment?
So I've been working hard. I've just last Friday I released my debut solo album,
Oh,
which
wow.
was an interesting thing to do in lockdown. So I did a live stream Facebook album launch and had some virtual guests, two of whom you're speaking to today. And it was a really nice experience. I mean, I've got a lot of copies of the CD sitting around at home because I thought, it's festival season. I'm gonna get a load ordered, and now they're just kind of in the shed because there's no festivals. So yeah, this is the album.
That is
Uh,
available. I assume that people can get that online or whatever, can they?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. What about you, Cohen? What have you been doing of late?
I'm also in the process of making my second solo album. So I was planning on recording that last month, but that's on hold. It's been postponed. But I've been sort of trying to jam in some extra practice to get that ready. And then the other thing is that it's been nearly 2 years in the works, but we've just put out a new book of traditional songs called Southern
Oh,
Songs.
look
So
at that.
George has got a copy there.
Beautifully modelled by George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful copy. Thanks for modelling that. All of mine are under the bed. So, but yes, that came from the publishers about 2 weeks ago, and yeah, I've been working on getting those out and learning some songs. There's some great songs in there.
Yeah. What gave you the idea for the book? What's
Well,
the
the
idea
book,
behind
it wasn't my idea. It was one of my collaborators, a chap called Nick Dow, who's a great singer and musician. It was his idea. It continues a series of books that were put out by EFTUS in the 1960s of the collections of the Hammonds and Gardiner, who were focused on collectors down on the south coast. So it's 100 plus previously unpublished songs.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So I imagine that has been keeping you busy. What about you, Lewis? Where are you at the moment, Lewis? By the way,
I'm in Worcester actually. I mean, I normally live in Southampton, but just before lockdown started, I decided to pack a bag from my flat in Southampton, and I'm now in Worcester. So it's just because I live on my own, so it would have been really bleak. So I decided to come up here and stay with family.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been
Cool.
here.
And what sort of things have you been at during the lockdown period?
Well, I'm making an album at the moment, and it's an album of tunes that I've written, and they are all for various regional styles of English step and step clog dancing.
Oh, wow.
The album's going to be called Footwork. I'm recording it, as much of it as possible, at home, but the problem is, one of the things we're doing is, what I like to do is put the dancing on it, and for that we need to hire a space and do that.
Yes.
Which at the moment is quite tricky. So, but as soon as I think we're getting to the stage where we can start possibly tentatively thinking about doing that.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you can, you'd be very welcome to come and use the barn or any other space you want to come and use to do that. If you wanted to, you'd be really welcome. We're desperate for music here, I tell you.
Well, we've got the money now to Alan Surtees Trust have very, very kindly given me a grant to actually record the dancing, to find a space for engineering fees and for dancers' fees. So as far as the recording of that dancing goes, they've now funded that portion of the project. And then the rest of it is just basically that's the big sticking point at the moment. Once we can get that done, I can really push ahead, and then a few months later the album will probably be out. But
Good. Well, you've all been busy, very busy individually. What sort of things you've been doing together, and what sort of plans have you got going forward to do together?
Well, we've got a few things planned for July, some of which we can't really sort of disclose yet. They're top secret plans. I wasn't going to say that, Lewis, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's how I work. Don't worry.
we sort of took our time to. A lot of people have been doing these online collaboration videos. We took our time to get around to that because we wanted to offer something new that people hadn't heard before. And a few years ago, a good friend of ours called Doug Watt wrote a tune called Grampy's Cellar, and he wrote it specifically for us to play. And we never had the time to sit down and learn it or record it or anything. And so now we have endless time. We thought, let's make a video of it and put it up. So I think you're going to be showing that. But that was our first foray into that kind of thing, and there'll be definitely more of those to come in the coming weeks.
Well, we look forward to seeing that at the end of the show, but and very much look forward to welcoming you guys either in a informal session or in a come and do a performance for us or whatever we can make happen in the future. But best of luck with your collaborations and all your stuff in terms of if people want to get the book or the CDs or anything, we'll put some links on our Facebook for you and things like that.
Thank you.
And have you got a website or a Facebook page that people can get to?
Yeah, so if you go to facebook.com/Granny's Attic Folk, or if you go to www.granny'sattic.org.uk, then you can find the CDs and the book and stuff, and our online shop and news about all the other stuff is there. So
brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, guys. I really appreciate it on a lovely Sunday, windy Sunday here. Anyway, but
very windy here too. Thanks so much for having us.
That's an absolute pleasure. Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers.
My thanks to the guys from Granny's Attic for joining us this afternoon. Had Mike and Mary, hi Mike, Mary, and Andy Canning. Nice to see you, Andy. Jeannie, Angela, Phoebe, Andrea from New Jersey again. Hi, how are you doing? Andriette, my apologies. So, I think it's come to that moment where we're going to watch Julian's joke.
I've just bought this new pen. It's great. With it, I can write underwater. With a bit of practice, I'm hoping to learn to write some other words.
Thanks, Jules. Another corker. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of tonight's show, apart from a fantastic piece of collaborative work by the guys from Granny's Attic, which is called Grampy's Cellar. There you go, written especially for them, I believe. So I'll leave you with that for tonight on this windy Sunday, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night from Fleece TV.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1.